Today we are going to show you how to grow sweet potato. It is so easy, it is so productive, it is so versatile, and it is so yummy. Let's go. Hi, I'm Debbie and welcome to Vintage Food Farm. Today I'm going to show you how we grow sweet potatoes in the tropics of beautiful far north Queensland, Australia. So this is our sweet potato bed, and if you have a look over here we have a little visitor. Goodbye. Goodbye. So all of this is sweet potato, and today Tim is going to harvest some. So there's a number of ways that you can grow sweet potato. The first is to buy sweet potato from the supermarket or from the markets or wherever and put them in the ground, and they will grow roots and sprout, and you will end up with a heap of sweet potato. The other way is to go to an Asian, usually an Asian market, and actually get a bunch of sweet potato greens and use those in a jar of water to root, and then you can plant them out. One of the easiest ways is if you already have sweet potato growing, or if you have a friend that has sweet potato growing, is just to grab off a bit like that and pull the outside leaves off. And then take your piece of sweet potato vine and pop it into a glass of water, and that will grow roots out of these nodes, and then you can just plant that in the ground. So when we first decided that we wanted to grow sweet potato, which we knew very early on, I actually found it quite confusing. Whenever I did research about how to grow sweet potatoes, it always said to use slips. Now, a slip is when you buy a sweet potato or you have a sweet potato and you pop it into a jar of water until it gets shoots on it. And then you either pull those shoots off and plant them, or you cut up the potato with the shoots on and you plant that. But I didn't understand the point of it when you could just plant the sweet potato. And I think the only reason that you would do slips is if you lived in a colder climate and you wanted to get the shoots going before the warmer weather, so that when the warmer weather came, you could then plant the slips. If you live in, say, the tropics or the subtropics, you are much better off either growing straight from putting a potato in the ground, or a pot or a container, or a raised garden bed, or using cuttings. And there's another myth, and it is a myth, that if you use cuttings to grow sweet potatoes, that they don't produce fruit or sweet potatoes. That is not our experience at all. When the vines overgrow, and they were the other day and we picked some, and they touch the ground, they then get roots and they then grow into the ground. And when you dig that up, there is a sweet potato that is growing under there. So basically a slip is a shoot from the sweet potato that turns into a vine. And these vines, when they touch the ground, will grow roots and they will produce sweet potatoes. And I'll show you down the back where we've got sweet potatoes coming up everywhere, because I threw down a heap of just rubbish vines that I'd cut off, and now they're actually growing. So Tim is now going to harvest us some sweet potato from the sweet potato bed, and we're also going to pick some sweet potato leaves, which, by the way, you can also eat as a green for in soups or stews or stir fries, or anywhere that you would use a spinach, you could also use sweet potato leaves. But he's going to pick some and feed them to the chickens. So you can hear Rotty the rooster in the background there, but Tim is now going to cut off the leaves, or rip them up actually, and you can see here that all of these vines, where they've touched the dirt, are starting to grow these roots. And if they stayed on the dirt, where these roots are growing would become new sweet potatoes. So you just pull the leaves back almost like a blanket. It's not hard to pull back, it's actually quite easy. And you'll see that we're not harvesting the whole lot of sweet potato because I don't want to harvest it just to have to store it. So we usually just harvest what we're going to eat. So I'll just rip up a bit of leaf, chuck it to the chickens, and then reach down and grab out some potatoes. And that way they're constantly growing and renewing rather than having to store them in a cool, dark place, which is hard for me to do in the tropics. Okay, so Tim is going to make the chickens very happy. So you can see here we have a fence between the chicken run and the vegetable garden. I let the bantams in the vegetable garden because they don't do much damage, but if we let the big chickens in, they would destroy it. Chook, 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 chook. So you can see those chickens are very happy eating the sweet potato leaves. And they also love the stems as well. And also the guinea fowl. Okay, let's dig up some sweet potato.
In a minute.
Gross. The funny thing is, spiders aren't so scary anymore when you have 4-metre long pythons. So there we go, there is our first red sweet potato.
Look at that. Broke a bit, but there we go.
So you can see the potatoes at the surface, and then you just sort of need to get around them a little bit and pull them out. And we don't want to cut them with the hori, but it's a lot easier to use that than it is to use a fork or a spade.
This is big. Wow. Just keep going again. Oh, there's more there.
This is a big one. Look at that. That is beautiful.
I would have gone bigger still if I hadn't broken it.
Yeah. Hello, little roosters. Hello, how are you? What you doing? You're just hanging out. So you can see here, all through the whole year these grow, and they keep growing over the side and down to the bottom. But what we normally do, if we're not digging up sweet potato, is we just grab them off, rip them off, and then we can feed them to the chicken and keep them under control. So we have enough sweet potato to last us for a couple of weeks, so we're not going to dig up any more, but there is heaps more in there. And then the little ones, we'll just replant those. So exciting. Growing your own food is absolutely the coolest thing ever. So I keep thinking, because the wet season is over and it's now turning into the dry season, and the mornings and the evenings are freezing, like 12 degrees, I forget that it still gets really hot during the day, and it is really hot still. So Tim has got all the sweet potatoes that we need for the next couple of weeks. So he's going to take them and wash them. And we've got a really easy way that we wash them. So there is still already a lot of sweet potato left in there, and they will continue to grow, and in a few weeks this will be covered in green leaves again. But just the little sweet potatoes that we had left over are too small for us to eat. Tim is going to just quickly dig those in. and then they will grow shoots, which will turn into these vines. And then wherever the vines touch the ground, they will grow these roots. And then wherever these roots grow, a sweet potato may grow. Okay, stop, get away. There is something in there, right in there. What?
It's cane toad.
Okay, as we are doing this, there is something definitely in the garden, and we need to find out what it is. We think it's probably a cane toad. And this is the downside of gardening in the tropics. Oh my God, what is it?
A chicken.
You're kidding. It's actually a little chicken laying an egg in the sweet potato bed. That's actually kaya, as in kaya toast. The little pit game hen, and I think she is laying an egg in the sweet potato bed instead of in the nesting box. So down the back of the veggie garden here is where we throw sweet potato vines for the chickens. And you can see that wherever the vine has touched the ground, the sweet potato is starting to grow. And then eventually that will grow its own sweet potato under the ground, and then it will grow more vines and it will spread, and there'll be more and more and more sweet potatoes. So sweet potato is not actually the potato family, it's actually the morning glory family. And it has a beautiful blue flower. But to be honest, we've only seen, I think, one flower since we've been here, so it's not a big flowerer. So if we hadn't fed the big bundle of leaves and vines to the chickens, we could have just put them straight on top of the bed again, and then wherever they have these roots, it would all grow and turn into sweet potatoes. So how do we eat this beautiful sweet potato? How long is a piece of string? So to begin with, anything that you use a normal potato in, you could use a sweet potato. So you could do roasted potatoes, you could do chips, you could do sweet potato salad, you can do tempura, you can do sweet potato gnocchi, is really, really beautiful with some Parmesan cheese and some tomato sauce. Not tomato sauce in a bottle, like Italian tomato sauce and Parmesan cheese. You can do, you can cook the potatoes, and you can even cook them in a microwave and chop them up and put them into a frittata. You can add them into a curry, any nationality of curry or soup or stew, just any way that you need a starch or that you would use a normal potato, you can use a sweet potato. So that is it. That is how we grow a heap of sweet potatoes in the tropics of far north Queensland, Australia. If you feel like it, and only if you feel like it, like and subscribe. But most importantly, stay calm in the farm.